ART lane set to debut next year, plus tackling the energy trilemma. Meanwhile, in world news, near-death experience with sharks. These are the headlines for tonight. You're now with me, Handy Gray, and this is TVS Nightline. Three men were plucked to safety after their inflatable catamaran was attacked by sharks and began sinking in the Coral Sea. Two Russians and one French national, ages 28 to 63, were on board the sinking vessel as it traveled from Vanuatu to northeastern city of Cairns.
According to Australian Maritime Safety Authority, AMSA, a distress call was picked up from the three sailors located about 835 kilometers southeast of Cairns in the Coral Sea. The men had asked for assistance from the Panama flag vehicle carrier Dugong Ace, which changed course to reach the boat. The 9-meter inflatable catamaran Tion had left Vanuatu and was bound for Cairns when both hulls of the vessel were damaged following several shark attacks.
Day one of the Sustainability and Renewable Energy Forum SAREF 3.0 was marked by an insightful panel session featuring distinguished experts. This session explored the concept of a collaborative energy future. And during the captivating discussion, industry leaders and sustainability advocates shed light on the potential of shared energy solutions in fostering a more interconnected and sustainable ASEAN community.
Interconnections take center stage at the third edition of the Sustainability and Renewable Energy Forum, or SAREF 3.0. Its aspiration to envisioning a future of clean energy from shared resources. Earlier in his opening speech, the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, touched upon the importance of interconnections as well as intra-regional partnerships among country members. However, this also begs the question of the energy trilemma, as well as the questions of how to bridge the gap of infrastructure development. And for that, I had the opportunity to speak with the Executive Director of the ASEAN Center for Energy, Dr. Nuki Agya Utama. Here's our conversation from earlier.
The ASEAN Power Grid is already being discussed since 1999. And the first MOU happening in 2007, so it's been a while. And the last couple of years, 5 to 7 years, progressive very strongly due to the needs and interest for member states to be connected, cause of this energy security and also energy sustainability, and definitely something that we need to have in terms of the affordability. So APG will answer those three trilemma by having connection amongst 10 countries. We can share our indigenous renewable energy from one country to another, and we can share also the load in terms of demand load, and also we can share also the technology. It related with the gap, I think there is no significant gap in terms of this power generation technology, because most of the countries already using some sort of kind of technology that most of the countries right now are using it. The infrastructure, yes, and that's happening in almost all of the countries. We need really to upgrade our grid infrastructure. Otherwise, we can really push, the electron to be transferred from one country to another. So that's our not only one or two countries' homework, but all together. Yeah, this is the homework for all countries to really upgrade the grid and make sure the grid is agile and enough to absorb the supply from any kind of source of energy, especially renewable energy.
For Dr. Nuki, Sarif has the potential to be the meeting ground of brilliant minds to share as well as exchanging the development of renewable energy within the region. He added that Sarawak's central location makes it the perfect energy hub for the BIMP growth area region. That is all from day one of Sarif 3.0. I'm Douglas Elliott, TVS Kuching.
The construction of dedicated hydrogen-powered autonomous rail transit ART lanes is set for next year. And Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg envisions the plan to be part of Kuching's transformation into a smart city with innovative technology integration.
Our road from Kuching to Damai, the new road that will start constructing next year, will allow us to have one dedicated lane for our ART. ART means hydrogen-powered public transport, and the lane for cyclists, as well those who are very energetic to walk. That will encourage people to use less fossil fuel vehicle. We hope that Kuching temperature will be less red, but more green.
He said this in his speech at the close of the 2023 Sarawak Transport Conference on Wednesday. The conference was held in conjunction with the 10th BIMP Iaga Transport Cluster meeting. Abang Johari noted the crucial role of strong relations among the four member nations, namely Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines in the East ASEAN Growth Area BIMP Iaga for advancing commerce, investment and tourism growth. He further attributed Sarawak's commitment to advancing the region's transport sector, stating that the Sarawak government aspires to establish an integrated transportation system that ensures safety, reliability, affordability, and efficiency, and offers diverse options for the people of Sarawak.
Meanwhile, the Sarawak government has ordered 38 autonomous rail transit ART units, which will arrive as soon as the testing of the prototype unit is complete. Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said this is part of the efforts to improve the public transportation system by providing the facility to the people and reducing traffic congestion that has long plagued the local community.
At the same time, Abang Johari said the Kuching Urban Transportation System, KUTS, set to begin operating in phases by the end of 2025, will provide 3 different routes.
The Sarawak government, as you know, we are ordering 38 units of these coaches, 38 total, where we have few lines, the red line, the green line, and the blue line, connecting Samarahan up to Kuching. Ini akan memberikan keselesaan kepada penumpang. Jadi the benefit is more. So I think the investment the state government is putting in this public transport transformation will benefit the rakyat.
He added the ART will serve as affordable transportation for low-income earners, aside from becoming a tourist-friendly transport. In the meantime, Abang Johari announced that the ART will use the online payment system SPay Global. Abang Johari, who also rode the prototype during its test run, expressed his satisfaction towards Sarawak's efforts to improve its public transportation system.
Jadi hari ini saya rasa begitu selesa. Hanya hari ini banyak sangat passenger. But it's a test. Banyak passenger pun the ART is running quite well.
He was met after launching the engineering run and stage 2 of the POC exercise for the prototype ART vehicle earlier at the Kuching Isthmus today.
In a significant move, Sarawak continues to strengthen its strategic cooperation within the transportation sector, engaging with nations in the East ASEAN growth area, namely Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines. Sarawak's Transport Minister, Dr. Sri Lee Kim Shin, stated the potential of this regional partnership in bolstering the state's economic growth.
As we are all aware, the transport sector is recognized as a key catalyst for sustained economic growth. Through this conference, we aim to underscore how regional connectivity can be established and fortified while aligning with the global sustainable development goals. Therefore, I urge the four nations to work together to realize the Bimniaga aspiration for 2025 to make our region resilient, inclusive, sustainable and economically competitive, or RISE RISE.
He said this while speaking at the opening ceremony of the Sarawak Transport Conference 2023 in Kuching on Wednesday. As part of the broader efforts to enhance the air transport connectivity in the Asian region, Kim Shin expresses optimism about the potential reinstatement of continuous flights between Miri and Manila. He highlights the previous convenience this service provided to the people of Sarawak and the Philippines before it was terminated.
We also remember the convenience of direct flights between Miri and Manila in the past, and we hope to re-establish such vital aims to enhance connectivity.
At the same time, in order to further strengthen air transport connectivity, he aims for Sarawak to explore opportunities to reinstate flights between Kuching and Pontianak. Last June, Sarawak introduced a new air route from Kuching to Jakarta to explore and strengthen existing cooperation relationships and promote the tourism industry.
Crisis averted. This perfectly describes what had transpired earlier today during a Malaysia Airlines flight headed for Kuala Lumpur. Deputy Minister of Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Dr. Anwar Rapai, stepped in to assist a passenger who experienced a medical emergency mid-flight.
On his Facebook post, Anwar told the story of how the stewardess urgently requested the attention of any doctors on board. He presented himself to the stewardess, which prompted a question about whether he was a PhD doctor or a medical doctor. Anwar told her that he is a medical doctor and presented her with his credit card that was engraved with Dr. Anwar Rapai, as doctors in Malaysia does not have an identity card that identifies their profession. The patient had experienced an asthma attack, and fortunately, the case was resolved when another passenger brought along an inhaler. The aircraft's emergency kit was also equipped with nebulizer, added Anwar, which provided immediate relief after a few puffs from the inhaler. Following this, Anwar disclosed that he had to make 4 copies of medical report for the incident and was thankful that the woman has arrived in Kuala Lumpur in good health. Upon hearing the news, Deputy Premier Dato' Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian commended Anwar's act of compassion. He was quote posting on his social media saying, "Once you become a practicing doctor, you're on call at all times."
Coming up next, undocumented Indonesian workers deported. And in world news, 5 killed from flood, 30 injured. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. On to the next update. A significant number of undocumented Indonesian workers in Malaysia have been repatriated to their home country. Recognizing the gravity of this situation, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has pledged that the Malaysian government will ensure a proper resolution without resorting to court proceedings.
He was asked by the media after the Temu Anwar program on Tuesday night, following Indonesian President Joko Widodo's visit to Malaysia last June. Meanwhile, touching on the South China Sea issue that was discussed in the ASEAN summit, Anwar reiterated the country's stance and insisted that ASEAN too should be firm in defending the country's rights and to negotiate well with China. At the same time, he said Malaysia welcomes the ASEAN leaders' decisions for the Philippines to be the ASEAN chair in 2026.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stressed that he was not involved in the Kuala Lumpur High Court's decision on Monday to grant Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi a discharge not amounting to an acquittal for all 47 graft charges involving Yayasan Akal Budi funds. Instead, according to the Prime Minister, the Attorney General had full powers to handle the case.
Tak ada kuasa dan wewenang sepenuh dan dia berikan alasan-alasan. Jadi saya serah kepada wewenang Jaksa Agung kerana dia bicara tentang 200 halaman permohonan baru oleh Datuk Seri Zahid. Saya tidak bercampur.
He told this to reporters after the Meet Anwar program on Tuesday night. If asked if the decision would give his unity government a negative perception, Anwar said the decision would not undermine the credibility of the government and reiterated that he remains steadfast in tackling corruption. Zahid was yesterday granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal of all 47 of his corruption, criminal breach of trust, CBT, and money laundering charges involving his foundation, Yayasan Akal Budi. He was also charged with accepting bribes when he was the Home Minister between 2013 and 2018.
Dato' Ahmad Tariruddin Muhammad Saleh, commencing his role as Attorney General AG today, is dedicated to upholding the trust placed in him to the fullest extent of his capabilities after clocking in at 8:15 a.m. this morning. His appointment received the official approval of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, in accordance to the Article 145(1) of the Federal Constitution.
Tenaga petikan saya sebagai Ketua Negara dan keduanya masuk pada kerajaan Malaysia kerana pelantik saya Ketua Negara dan insyaAllah saya akan tunaikan amanah yang tanggungjawab diberikan sebaik.
Tariruddin is replacing Tan Sri Idrus Harun, whose contract ended on Tuesday, September 5th. His appointment has also effectively returned the AG position to senior officers of the Justice Department. The last time an AG was appointed from among the senior officers was during Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Patayil's tenure from 2002 to 2015. The most recent three predecessors, including Idrus, Tan Sri Abdul Apandi Ali and Tan Sri Tommy Thomas, were former federal judges and lawyers.
Malaysia has lifted the temporary suspension on the imports of live cattle and buffalo from Australia, effective immediately, said the Department of Veterinary Services, DVS. In a statement today, it said the decision was based on the comprehensive investigation report shared by Australia's Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, DAFF, after conducting two technical discussions with the department. Malaysia imposed the temporary import ban on August 4th as a precautionary measure following claims by Indonesian authorities that signs of lumpy skin disease were detected in cattle imported from Australia. The department said all importers of live cattle and buffalo from Australia must submit an import application letter for permit purposes. Onto some global updates. The recent flash floods in multiple areas of northwest Turkey have resulted in the tragic loss of 5 lives and left 30 others injured. Among the casualties, 2 individuals were discovered deceased in Istanbul, while 3 additional lives were tragically lost in the northwestern Turkey. Furthermore, the severity of these flash floods has triggered extensive search and rescue operations as concerns arise about the potential disappearance of 3 individuals in the affected areas.
With a staggering 125 kilograms per square meter of rainfall pouring down in less than 6 hours, this quantity equals the typical amount the city expects over the entire month of September, as reported by the Istanbul Governor's Office in an official statement. As of press time, 157 people were successfully rescued after they were left stranded by the floods overnight.
16 people were killed and many more were wounded in a Russian attack in the eastern Ukrainian city on Wednesday as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Kiev. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack, saying a market, shops and a pharmacy had been struck in the industrial city close to the battlefield. He believed that it had been a deliberate attack on a peaceful city.
Footage circulated online by presidential officials showed people falling to the ground or running for cover after a huge explosion in front of them, seconds after some look up to the sky when they hear what sounds like a missile approaching. Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko said that in addition to the 16 killed in Kostyantynivka, at least 28 people were wounded. Local prosecutors later put the number of wounded at 31 and said 20 shops, power lines, an administrative building, and a residential building had been damaged. 8 retail facilities were burned to the ground and cars were destroyed. Images circulated on Telegram showed rescue workers sifting through the rubble and carrying out bodies in black sacks. Kostyantynivka, which had a population of about 70,000 before Russia's invasion 18 months ago, is about 30 kilometers from the devastated city of Bakhmut, where fighting has been heavy for months.
Now, Indonesian President Joko Widodo called for optimized trade cooperation between Indonesia and Bangladesh, in line with the growth in trade value between both nations over the last 5 years. This was one of the issues conveyed by President Jokowi in his introductory remarks at a bilateral meeting with the President of Bangladesh, Mohamed Shahabuddin, at the Jakarta Convention Center, JCC Jakarta, on Wednesday.
This bilateral meeting is part of a series of the 43rd ASEAN Summit in Jakarta, held on September 5th till 7, 2023. The summit is attended by 19 state leaders, including friendly countries and international organizations. He noted during the meeting Indonesia's trade has increased significantly by 19.9% in the last 5 years. President Jokowi also emphasized the need to strengthen the friendship between Indonesia and Bangladesh to provide concrete benefits for the people of both countries. Apart from a bilateral meeting with President Shahabuddin, Jokowi is also scheduled to have a meeting with the United States Vice President Kamala Harris.
See the world closer with TVS, as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the time for TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching and have a good night.